So we're glad you're back, Matthew, because Stacy wanted you to explain what Twitter's changes mean.
Oh, yeah. Help me, Matthew.
Is he the expert on this? Is that the deal?
Yeah, Twitter, I mean,
this is your
kind
beat?
of live on there. So
no more Twitter canoes.
It is part of my beat. No,
Are you tweeting right now, Matthew?
I am.
Actually, infinite Twitter canoes now.
Right. So the Twitter canoes can be unlimited. You can add up to 50 people, I think. So if you, depending on where you fall on using Twitter and whether you've been harassed, for example, you would either see these changes as good or the worst thing ever. So I saw probably 50-50 in my stream, people saying, hey, this sounds great because, you know, handles won't be counted against the character limit. Images and other embeds won't be counted against the character limit. So that's good, right? You get more room. But then anyone who's ever been mentioned into a giant fight with social justice warriors or whatever, and then been copied on every mention and every retweet, knows that that can be a hugely annoying problem. So Twitter's made it easier for people to tweet without worrying about using up space, but at the same time, it's enabled probably more harassment. So in a way, this is Twitter in a nutshell. Everything it does is simultaneously really good and also incredibly horrible.
So the only thing that really the bottom line is the only thing that counts against 140 characters is the stuff you say.
Yeah.
Your speech.
We haven't gotten to the part about the period before the @ symbol. Do you want me to get into that?
They're changing that? What?
Yes. So
what?
So
it took us years to figure that out.
Right. A thing that a lot of people didn't even know existed.
I think some people still haven't figured it out.
It's now going away. So that's good in a sense that lots of people can now live their lives without having to figure out how it works. But
let me explain. Let me explain.
Confusing.
So I think you're right. I think a lot of people, I've taught so many people that when you just reply somebody, @Mathew I, hey, that was great. The only people who see it are people who follow both of us, right?
Both of them, right.
So if you want to reply to somebody, but you want all of your followers to see it, you can't begin it with an @ sign. So the thing that people just made up, I mean, Twitter never said to do this, but the thing that people made up is you put a dot and then @Mathew I. Now I'm both responding to you and everybody in who follows me can see it. That's not going to work anymore.
No, you won't have to do that. So
Wait
in
a minute.
effect, so there's two things which make it actually more confusing rather than less.
Oh, shoot.
Or the way it was described made it more confusing.
Okay.
So if you start a tweet with an @ everyone in your timeline can see it.
So they're basically turning that off.
Right.
That thing
So you
that was
don't have
only
to use a
see
period.
that was important because it meant you could have a conversation without being
exactly.
You and I could talk back and forth without annoying everybody else.
So this is another example of where it's good because it was a dumb thing that people didn't understand and it confused people, but the change actually can make some things worse because things that originally would have been just between you and somebody will now or could now be seen by everyone. You may not want that. My understanding is replies will still only be seen by, so if you reply to a tweet and it starts with an @ then it's only seen by
I get
all
it.
of your followers.
So if you
But
create a new
start
tweet that starts with an @
exactly, then everyone will see it.
Oh, actually, that sounds.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It does.
I agree, right?
See, it sounds good. Yeah. But
okay, I can handle that.
the time it took me to explain all that.
Well, that's what because I'm
Can you
reading over that.
imagine having this conversation with a normal human
But
being?
it's more intuitive. You shouldn't even have to have the conversation now because it'll behave kind of like you would expect.
Like you would expect.
Like you would expect.
Yeah. If it's a reply, then only you and I will see it.
We're not even getting into the whole quote tweet versus, native retweet.
Yeah, they got rid of
We need a whole show for that.
They got rid of long ago what most people wanted, which was a retweet that quotes the original tweet and then allows you to add your own thoughts.
No, they have that.
No, that's still there. That's the quote tweet button.
But it's actually worse.
How do you get a quote tweet?
Well,
Maybe
you just
what
quote.
do you use for Twitter? What app do you use for Twitter? Do you use?
I'm on the Twitter homepage right now.
Use the
So-
web.
That's what Twitter wants you to use, Matthew. Don't you know?
Okay, all right.
All right. So I see a retweet button.
So you should be able to, when you go to retweet.
Oh,
go-
here it is. No, copy. No.
No, go to the
So
retweet
there's
button.
add a comment at the top. Yeah, if you click on retweet, click it.
Yeah.
See, it says add a
Oh, they have added that back.
That's
have,
been there for a long time.
Oh,
but-
Sorry.
because
Yeah.
I remember when it just went out. It was like,
Yeah.
that's it. That's all you got.
the native retweet.
That was Twitter's biggest. That was Twitter's change. So they backed off on that sometime previously, and I just didn't notice. Okay.
Unfortunately, the quoting has actually caused even more problems. So I have been yelled at. I've been yelled at by people, including a prominent Twitter investor, for what he called witch hunt retweets, where you quote someone's tweet and then say something snarky about it. This is apparently bad behavior.
You used to be able to like change. I mean, the reason they did that is because people were changing people's original tweets and not necessarily doing whatever was it, MT, QT, RT, I don't know, whatever language you were supposed to do to
Modified
indicate.
tweet,
Yes, MT.
which again was invented by users. Nothing-
Yeah.
Right.
Which all the good stuff was invented by users, frankly.
Well, and unfortunately, it feels like the things that users invented to solve a problem that actually worked have been replaced by things that are official but don't work quite.
In other words, Twitter's better idea.
Yeah. We need a This Week in Twitter.
No, I don't. No.
No?
No.
Could it be 140 seconds?
Yeah, I don't, boy, Twitter is, if there were anything that I have had a love-hate relationship with, it would be Twitter.
Yep.
That
Me
is
too.
the epitome of a love-hate
I
relationship.
wrote a whole post about that, how I have a love-hate relationship. I'm on it all the time. I use it for work. It's a fantastic thing. It's changed my life more than any other, certainly social technology that I can think of, including Facebook. And yet it's so frustrating.
I have a theory. Can you all...
Not just the service, but the company.
Yeah, well, the company's ridiculous. That's part of the fun of it. But here's my theory. I think, okay, you tell me where I'm wrong here. If you just watched your timeline, not the @ replies to you, but if you just looked at the home, that's when you love it, right? Because it's a great continuous stream of what's happening right now. Where we get into the deeper waters is where you look at notifications and what people are saying to you. Now, admittedly, that's the conversational part of Twitter, and so I'm throwing out the baby with the bathwater. But I find Twitter wonderful. If I just look at the timeline stream, the main home stream.
No, you're right. And
It's
they do two completely different things. In a way, Twitter is several different, arguably useful services kind of merged into one.
Right.
And so the notifications and the conversation is one of those things, and the sort of real time stream of information is another. But I think what makes Twitter so useful and frustrating is the way those things work together. To me,
Right.
if you had either of those all by themselves, they might be less irritating, but I'm not convinced they would be as sort of magical or produce the kinds of things that Twitter does. But less frustrating, probably.